Hello everyone! I've counted the votes, and the card you wanted me to talk about most is the green dragon aspect, Ysera.
I dream and the world trembles.
Let's begin, shall we? Ysera is one of those characters that has so much story that I'll definitely have to make some for the Monday, but you did place your votes, so I'll do my best to tell as much as I can in the time that we have. Within Hearthstone, Ysera gives you a dream card at the end of your turn, which can be either return a minion to its owner's hand, summon an Emerald Drake, a Laughing Sister, Nightmares, which gives a minion 5/5 but will destroy them at the start of the next turn, and a card called Ysera Awakens, which deals 5 damage to all characters except for Ysera. All of these cards are connected to the Emerald Dream in some way, and the Emerald Dream is an ethereal realm of spirits and untamed nature that exists alongside the world of Azeroth. The Titans and their Titan Keepers, mainly Keeper Freya, they use the Dream to shape flora and fauna on the world of Azeroth. Freya was also the one who bound the spirits of the Wildcast to the Dream, and she granted Ysera dominion over the realm. Way back when, the world faced a threat called Galagrant, a massive proto-dragon that has started to mutate and eat even his own kind. Titan Keeper Tyr recruited the aid of 5 special proto-dragons: Alexstrasza, her sister Ysera, Malygos, Neltharion, and Nosdormu. Together, these proto-dragons were able to overcome this much larger threat by working together and using their skills as a team. The Titan Keepers realized that the world of Azeroth could use more protectors, and they decided to transform these 5 proto-dragons into the dragon aspects, and several more proto-dragons into full-fledged dragons. Each of them gained a portion of the incredible titanic powers, and each of them had their own domain to safeguard. In the case of Ysera, Freya called upon Eonar to bless her with nature's influence. She was charged with keeping watch over the flowering wilds of Azeroth from within the Emerald Dream. Bound to this realm, she descended into an endless trance, and she became known as the Dreamer. Now this duty and power was both a blessing and a curse, since life for the dragons has not been easy, and they've been used for some of the more tragic stories in Warcraft. The first blow that they faced was during the War of the Ancients. The Highborn, led by Queen Ysera, they were trying to summon Sargeras and the Legion into the world, and a resistance was formed. Even the dragons, normally not meddling with mortal affairs, they saw that action had to be taken. Neltharion convinced his fellow aspects to imbue an artifact called the Dragon Soul, later to be known as the Demon Soul, with a portion of their power. Combined into one, this artifact had the potential to turn the water around, and at first it actually did. Neltharion caused devastation to the ranks of the Legion, but unknown to the others was that the Black Dragon, the aspect of Earth, he had fallen to the whispers of the old gods. He turned a weapon, not only against the demons, but also against the Night Elves and even his fellow dragons. This was a devastating blow. Malygos tried to stop his best friend, and as a reward, nearly all of his dragonflight was wiped out. The dragons were forced to flee the battlefield for the moment, and later on, when the wild gods appeared to join the fight, Ysera returned just in time to see that her adopted son Cenarius, he was wounded, and her beloved Malorn was slain by Archimonde. The Demon Soul had been stolen from Neltharion, or Deathwing as he would now be known, and it was planned to be used to fuel the portal, to strengthen it and finish the job of summoning Sargeras. They had to move quickly and together, and so she focused their efforts on bringing nightmares to the demons in front of them, show them horrific vision, turn them against each other, and at the end of the war, they were able to obtain the disc and send the Legion back to where they came from. The Demon Soul was hidden away by Malfurion, so that not even the other aspects would know of its location, but it would not remain hidden forever. Deathwing eventually found the disc. He led the orcs, who had made their way into Azeroth, to his position, and manipulated them to use it and enslave Alexstrasza. She was then forced to breed, and her fellow dragons were forced to serve the orcs, or their queen would suffer. Her consort Corielstras did everything in his power to save his beloved. He even recruited the aid of the Mace Ronin, and convinced the other aspects to take action. Time had not been kind to them. Malygos had gone quite insane. Nosdormu just worried about collecting artifacts from time, and Ysera shared a similar apathy to the world of Azeroth. This enraged Corielstras. Surely the aspects would not sit back and let things just take its course. Let Deathwing be the ruler of their destiny. His words were able to convince Ysera to take action, and she was able to convince the others to face off against Deathwing in an attempt to save Alexstrasza. Keep in mind that a portion of their power was still locked away within the Demon Soul, whereas Deathwing had never given up any of his. They were not equal in power, but that all changed when Ronin shattered the disc. He freed their lingering power, and he guided it back to their rightful owners. Now the four, since Alexstrasza had been freed from the orcs, fully empowered, stood against the one, and they sent Deathwing running. With her powers fully restored to her, Ysera kept watch over the dream, and she was responsible for the creation of the sunken temple. Trolls were trying to summon Hakar in that place. Ysera found out about it, and she destroyed it, sending it to the bottom of the water. After which, she fell silent island, and we saw that not all was right within the dream. The dragons of Nightmare attacked the world of Azeroth, and the dream became corrupted by the old gods. After the defeat of the Lich King, the events of the novel Stormrage took place, in which Ysera tried to defend her realm against the Nightmare. But she was captured and held within the Eye of Ysera, a location within the dream used to imprison her and add her powers to the Nightmare. It was her consort Irenicus, with the aid of others, that was able to set his beloved free, and eventually the forces of the Nightmare were defeated, but not entirely vanquished. Malfurion Stormrage pushed the Nightmare back as far as he could, but at the Rift of Aln, another location of the dream, he could sense the evil of the old gods and push it no further. He sealed off the area, knowing that the day was won, but one day they would have to fight this war. He then got married to Tyrande Whisperwind, with Ysera and Alexstrasza showing up for the wedding, and finally blessing the Night Elves' new world tree called Teldrassil, which leads us to the events of the Cataclysm. Ysera had spent millennia within the dream, seeing visions of both the past and the future, and now she had woken up, but the integration into the waking world, it was uneven to say the least. She had seen glimmers, bits and pieces of the puzzle, but she was unable to see clearly where what belonged. Despite that, she was certain that the shaman Thrall played a big part in the future, so she sent him on his quest, which eventually lead to him teaming up the aspects and using the demon soul taken from the past against Deathwing and preventing the Hour of Twilight, the moment in which the old gods would break out of the prison and rule the world once more. Taking down Deathwing and apparently fulfilling their great purpose, it took a lot out of Ysera and the other aspects. They lost a big chunk of their power, their immortality even, and they had to find a new place for themselves in the world. Fulfilling your destiny is great, but the Nightmare was still out there, and with Legion it returned. The war that Malfurion knew would one day be upon us has finally arrived, and Xavius the Nightmare Lord used the corrupted Tear of Elune to shoot Ysera out of the sky and have her be turned by the Nightmare, corrupting the beautiful aspect and forcing her to do his bidding. We joined Tyrande Whisperwind at the Temple of Elune as we were forced to bring her down, and upon her death, Elune reached down and lifts her spirit into the sky. A cleansed Tear of Elune is left behind, which we can use in the war against the Legion, and all those who gazed upon the cinematic felt their hatred burn for Xavius and what he had done. Raged ventured into the Emerald Nightmare, confronted him, but there we found out that Ysera is not entirely gone.
Embrace the dreaming, champions. It can save you.
Ysera aids us in our battle against Xavius as he tries to fully corrupt their mind, but with her at our side, he stands no chance. With his demise, the dream is cleansed from the Nightmare, and at the Rift of Aln, we can see an image of Ysera walk the lake. Perhaps one day, they'll decide to bring her back into the story, but for now, this is where the dreamer will rest. And that's where we'll end the story for today. Like I said, Ysera has been part of so much story that she definitely needs a couple of bigger videos, but this is her story in a nutshell. As always, I'll leave it up to you guys girls to decide what card we're gonna talk about next, so leave your suggestions in the comments down below, and who knows, your card might be used in the next video. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time guys, see ya!